The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida.
Powered by FloridaBeerBlog.com. This is Dave, your host and author. We want to welcome the Fresh Mix to the Florida Podcast Network, hosted by Gerard Legagneur, fresh out of South Beach. This is going to be an exciting mix of interviews with movers and shakers from across the state. Definitely very excited to welcome them to the Florida Podcast Network family. Recommend that everybody go check them out. And if you need the details, just go to FloridaPodcastNetwork.com.
Thanks for finding the Fresh Mix podcast, a random mix of Florida's freshest personalities. From authors to activists, from business owners to ball players, and everything in between. You never quite know who's going to be in a mix, but it's guaranteed to be fresh and keep you in the know while on the go with Florida's latest.
She does come from a psychic family, so I always knew her mom was a psychic. Megan, Mystic Michaela, she never talked about it. You know, once in a while she would say something, or I used to take her to the racetrack to try to get a winner. But other than that, we really didn't talk about her being, you know, psychic or gifted. We really didn't talk about it until we moved down to Florida and she kind of got out of her mom's shadow. I didn't know it at the beginning, but I did accept it. I was very accepting of her. I was actually really scared at the beginning of her mom. I was terrified of her mom. Because I saw things that I don't know that you should see, you know, I mean, crazy stuff. Like I saw a statue just go across a table, like without anyone touching it. And that kind of freaked me out. So I don't know. I mean, we've been together 20 years and it's fantastic. We just really complement each other.
The message for the book is love conquers hate. And that gets completely lost because everybody wants to talk about the power of the drugs or the power of the people that were using them and all of the money. You know, when you see pictures of millions of dollars in cash on the floor of my kitchen that was taken out of a safe, and they draw so much attention to it all. The message that I want to send out, and the key thing that I learned through all this, I can only conquer my individual hatred with love, my hatred for the prosecutor and for the police and people that set me up and everybody else that went along with it. I realized that in order for me to be the best person I can, I have to conquer my own hatred.
For us, it is one of those things that we're following a passion for history, for the paranormal, and for storytelling. And to be able to have these experiences that, again, not a lot of people have the opportunity to have, if we can create a sense of wonder, a sense of exploration in our audience, that's really what our driving factor is. You know, if we can help preserve some of these locations that people might not even know about, I think that is really our main goal. So that's really what I mean by a labor of love. Also, the fact that I get to do this with my sisters, you know, we get to travel to these amazing locations and have a very tactile experience with that history that we read about or we research. So not many people can say that they've stayed the night in, you know, the St. Augustine Lighthouse or something like that, but we can say that we've done that.
I like to call it a selective photographic memory. And what that means is anything I want to remember, I will remember. That's any statistic, any player. You know, when I was younger, I would go around, like, this is maybe I'm in first, second grade, and I would try to just name like full NFL rosters. Or I would go on ESPN.com and I'd go to statistics and I'd try to remember who was top 5 in every statistic in every sport. And then I go to power rankings and I try to remember who was top 10 in each one, who was this, who was that. I always was infatuated with statistics and how it related to sports. The photographic memory really, really helps, and it makes me have to do a lot less research, and it makes me able to cover a lot more sports in a short amount of time. Yeah, it's been super duper helpful with the photographic memory. I think that's what makes me unique as a sports handicapper.
Hey guys, it's CIRE. I'm the upcoming artist coming from Florida in the old city of St. Augustine. Let's join this Florida podcast. Shout out to them. They're amazing. Tune in.
Hello there. This is producer Jemmy, founder of the Florida Podcast Network. Thank you to CIRE, an amazing music artist out of St. Augustine, for that great shout out. We love you. Please be sure to check our show notes for a link to his SoundCloud, along with a whole lot of other great stuff for you to check out about the Fresh Mix and Gerard's first guest, Scott Firester, a.k.a. the man behind the Mystic, celebrity author Max Stryker, Kristy Sumner of Soul Sisters Paranormal, and Sports Handicapper phenom, Zach Hirsch of iPickWins. Plus, we are so grateful to our other fabulous FBN host, Dave Butler of the Florida Beer Podcast and the Florida Beer Blog, for welcoming Gerard and the Fresh Mix Podcast to the network. So let's celebrate the growth of his awesome show with a few highlight clips too, before we close out this sizzle reel for you. And be sure you are checking out all the great shows and watching out for the new ones we have in development at FloridaPodcastNetwork.com.
The Florida Beer Podcast, powered by FloridaBeerBlog.com, your source for all things related to the craft beer community in the Sunshine State. And now your host, Dave Butler.
Today is going to be a quickie.
We've always talked about bringing back Cape Coral Brewing Company, cleaning up the brand, certainly cleaning up the beers, a hyper-local commitment to what is Cape Coral. And so that's what our plan in that location is going to be. We have a building right now with a brewery in place. We're bringing what was our old food truck from Pinellas down there, parking it outside and serving, tacos and nachos and basic pub fare.
If a smaller business thinks that they can self-distribute to a bar locally without hiring that distributor and paying those additional costs, then they should have the opportunity to do so. Many of the craft brewers that I've spoken to, they want to focus on one thing. They want to make a great product.
I like to say that we're craft with heritage. That's an oxymoron, right? Because craft usually doesn't have heritage, right? You're new. This brand is all about our Cuban soul, but our Miami lifestyle.
Once again, that's the Fresh Mix. Sunny, salty, Floridian.
For details about the show and me, your host, Gerard Legagneur, go to freshmixpodcast.com. And if you think you or someone you know would make a great guest, fill out the submission form right on that page. Again, that's freshmixpodcast.com. Get ready to catch who's fresh in the Florida mix with the Fresh Mix Podcast.